And now I'd like to introduce Lindsey Stricklin with her message today. Never miss a miracle. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is so great to be back at Unity of Huntsville. I see so many familiar faces, a couple of new faces, and I can't wait to talk with everyone afterwards and catch up. But you know what I'm going to be talking about now, don't you? What is it that I always talk about?
Miracles.
Miracles, that's right. You know, I joke and say, Lady Gaga is known as Mother Monster. And in Game of Thrones, they had the Mother of Dragons. I'm going to start campaigning for Mother of Miracles because that's all I talk about. Hashtag Mother of Miracles. I think we should make it a thing. But I love to talk about miracles, and especially A Course in Miracles, because Jesus was really speaking into the miraculous in A Course in Miracles. You know, it's sometimes referred to as the Third Testament or the New Testament. He introduced it as a correction in a time of chaos, in a world that was fearful and tumultuous, dramatic and traumatic, as a correction to the current collective experience. He really introduced it and spoke into it as being that correction that would bring love into loveless minds, loveless hearts, and into a loveless world. And boy, don't we need more of that these days. It was very timely, and I find it very practical and very appropriate. So that's why I like to talk about miracles. I think we need a miracle. So how can we never miss a miracle in our life? When I say the word miracle, just think about it. What comes to your mind? Now, for most of us, if we're honest, you'll say, Lady, it sounds nice. A miracle sounds great, right? But that's never going to happen. Like, that's unrealistic, okay? If we're honest, we've all been there, and on any given moment, and any given day, we're probably there a few times. We go back and forth, right? In believing and wishing for a miracle, and then thinking it can't happen. But A Course in Miracles says miracles are natural. Your natural state of being is your divinity. That's who you really are. You aren't who you think. This world would have you believe you're something else, that miracles are unrealistic, that they're rare, that it's not going to happen for you, babe. But A Course in Miracles says they're natural. They are naturally occurring as expressions of love. Now, when we talk about miracles from that point of view, that doesn't seem too far-fetched or unrealistic, right? An expression of love? Y'all are doing that right now. You're looking at me, you're smiling, you're warm, you're receptive. We can get that. We can do that, right? We can muster up that kind of miracle. So that's the correction that Jesus was bringing in with A Course in Miracles, that they're natural. But it also says, in A Course in Miracles, when they do not occur, that means something has gone wrong. So our natural state as children of God, as divinity in our natural form, is miracle upon miracle, love upon love, peace and joy and happiness, well-being, all of that. That's divine right order. That is the natural order of things. That's who you are meant to be. That's what your experience as a child of God is naturally supposed to be. So are we doing that? Y'all doing that? I'm not doing that 24/7, right? This is where the work comes in. Our humanity brings us down into a different place where we're experiencing all of the aspects of human nature. So what does it mean if we're not having that miraculous, divine, perfect order of things? What does that mean for our experience? What does that mean? What has gone wrong? What is it talking about something's gone wrong? What's going wrong? How are we missing the miracle? Well, we said that miracles are expressions of love. Simple enough, right? The miracle that you think you're needing is really you reaching for love. And that might look like what I said before, those aspects of divine right order, and alignment and flow. Peace, clarity, resolution, solutions, this thing working out, that thing working out, happiness, joy, more love, more connection, more interaction, unity. That's what it might look like. But underneath all of that, all of those separate forms of love, the miracle is really love showing up in a way that is meaningful for you specifically. The miracle you're thinking of right now, because I know you're all thinking about it, you're thinking, what's the miracle that I need? Is really love showing up for you in a meaningful way that makes sense for you. The miracle is really love showing up in a form that you can recognize and that you can receive. That's really important because of our perception. And we all have a highly individualized curriculum. So that miracle is specifically tailored for you. And that's a comfort to me. That's not some very specific thing. It's going to show up in a way that we can recognize and receive it. A Course in Miracles says that its purpose is to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So that's essentially, it's teaching us how to remove what's blocking the miracle. Because if miracles occur naturally, and that's our natural state, miracle after miracle after miracle, love upon love, and then something's blocking it, something's going wrong, then we need to look into that. We need to get back to our natural state, right? So it's removing the blocks to the miracle. What's blocking the miracle? And we do that by investigating how we feel, the thoughts and feelings that we have. Those are the things that are blocking the miracle. So the miracle isn't being denied to us. We are actually blocking it with our perception, with our thoughts, with our feelings. We're deflecting it, A Course in Miracles says. There is a very beautiful section, it's early on, an idea in A Course in Miracles, that's called the sphere of celestial order. I think that's beautiful. Such a beautiful idea and imagery. And it says in the sphere of celestial order, everything is perfect. It is that space of divine flow. Miracle upon miracle, love upon love upon love, peace and joy, everything you could ever hope for and wish for in perfect harmony. And I kind of see it here as our higher mind, right? Elevated thoughts, thoughts of love, that higher space, a heavenly realm, where it's just one consistent movement of miracle, and they're circling and they're spinning. See, what we don't seem to realize, because we're human and we see it from a certain perspective, is we think that we are waiting on the miracle. But A Course in Miracles says the miracle is waiting on us to get ready, to remove the block that we have put from our human experience, from our thoughts and feelings in place that deflect it, that block it from landing. So we have this beautiful sphere of celestial order, that place of divine flow, our higher mind. And then we also have the lower level, our human experience, lower level thoughts, those thoughts of fear, judgment, guilt, doubt, blame, shame, old stories, new stories, anxiety and worries, things that haven't happened yet and probably won't happen, that keep us freaking out in the past or in the future. We're not at peace, we're not in love, we're not aligned with that perfect frequency of love. So the miracle can't come in. We can't recognize it, we can't see it. We can't recognize it, we're missing the miracle because we're not in that space of alignment. If we're not in that space of alignment with love, remember, a miracle is an expression of love. If we're not in the frequency of love, we can't recognize the miracles that are already right in front of us, and we can't receive the miracles that are on the way. Because in that sphere of celestial order, it's very active. You know, the universe is expansive. Love is always expanding exponentially, infinitely, endlessly. Love is never uncreated. It just keeps growing and growing and growing in that beautiful realm where there are no blocks. Because the blocks are here, the Course says, on the battleground, our human experience, the lower level. That's a really great descriptive term, I think, the battleground of our worldly experience. Because we have conflict, we have grievances, we have grudges. All of those are obstacles boulders in the way. And the Course says that that deflects the miracle. It says that when we align with love, we are lifted above the battleground. God does not give us victory on the battlefield. He lifts us above the battleground to that place where the miracle is ready and waiting. So miracles aren't absent because love isn't absent. We can look around and find love pretty readily. Miracles aren't rare then. What we might think, first thoughts about a miracle, that's rare, it's unrealistic. Love isn't rare. We can generate some love right here and now like we're doing, focusing on each other, hugging each other like we did this morning, speaking with each other. So that's not really true. And miracles don't really take time. The Course says miracles collapse time. Love makes time irrelevant. And that's important. We've all had those moments where we've been with someone we really love and it felt like time stood still. You know, we entered that moment of timelessness and like all of heaven, it all just stopped. Got a little blurry, soft focus, right? We all remember those moments. Also, we remember moments where we were with someone we love dearly or doing something that we're really passionate about, that we love, and we look at the clock, like 3 hours has gone by like that, you know? Love makes time irrelevant. So we have experience of being aligned with love. We have experience with miracles. So if they're not rare, they're not absent, and they don't take time, what is it? Why are we missing them? Because, like I said before, it doesn't take time. It doesn't take searching for them endlessly. It takes alignment. It takes getting back into that space of perfect flow to remove the blocks that is blocking the miracle, the awareness of love's presence. So the Course in Miracles says, so we've got this sphere of celestial order, this place of our inner higher mind, and we've got this place on the battleground in our lower mind, right? So we want to be elevated to that place. We want to clear the blocks and be elevated to that place. Now, miracles are not stagnant because love's not stagnant. Love moves. Miracles move. They're a movement. Creation is movement, right? The universe is constantly expanding. The mind of God is constantly expanding. Love grows exponentially. And what we also don't realize while we're waiting on a miracle to just randomly show up, if we're really good or really lucky, is the miracle is actively seeking us out. It's waiting on us, but it's also actively looking for a place to land. It's circling, it's looking, it's circling, it's looking. She's got blocks. That's blocked, can't land. So the miracle, if we were in that place of flow, it's always coming in and we could just reach up and enter into the realm of celestial order, into that miraculous place. Because miracles are natural. That's what we're meant to experience. Miracle upon miracle upon miracle upon miracle, the higher minded place as divine children of God. But the Course in Miracles says, when we enter into any experience with an open heart and an open mind, and we're aligned with love, we're thinking loving thoughts, our hearts, our minds are open, we attract the miracle. We can just access it immediately. It's waiting on us to get there, to be miracle ready. But when we are constricted and closed off, we close our hearts, we close our minds, we turn towards fear instead of love, the Course says we deflect the miracle. Now, this is important. It does not say the miracle is deleted forever, because all expressions of love are maximal. Love cannot be uncreated. It's growing. It's eternal. It's unchangeable. It's unalterable, right? So it's up there. It goes right back into that realm of possibility, the sphere of celestial order, right back into your higher mind. It's going to come back around again. You're going to get another chance to do it better. That's really hopeful for me. That's really optimistic. I love that about the metaphysics of A Course in Miracles. There's always a better way. You can always choose again, and that's your power. So the Course in Miracles says it's deflected. It's not deleted. So it's up there. And this is really beautiful in A Course in Miracles. It says the Holy Spirit, when the miracle is deflected, holds it in trust for you until you are ready to receive it. Until you choose again, until you're ready. So it's always going to come back around. When I was younger, Now, I didn't do this because I was this big and my arm span was this big. But there were these old carousels, right? And the older kids would get on the outside, get on the horse on the outside, and there would be this gold ring that was attached to the other side of the carousel, the side that didn't spin. So the carousel would be going around. I'd watch them. I was jealous because I was this big and couldn't do it. It's dangerous. But they'd reach out, and as the carousel went around, you could reach out, and if you grab the ring, the gold ring, you won a prize. But the thing about it was, the carousel would come back around again, and you could try again for the gold ring. That is what is happening in this sphere of celestial order. That is what is happening within our own minds. Opportunities are always going to come back around. That's the level of the miraculous. It's never over. We can never really miss a miracle. We can deflect it, but it is held in trust for us. We can come back around and we learn. Okay, we got to lean a little bit more this way. We got to do this. We got to maybe get on a different one and try it out. We learn, we grow, and we get the miracle. We are ready to receive. We move the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. I also like to think of this sphere where the miracles are just kind of circling and in a holding pattern, really, held in trust for us, like airplanes that are waiting for clearance to land. So I remember one time I went to London, my favorite city in the world, and this was many years ago. I think I was in my mid-20s, many years ago. Y'all are gonna laugh at that. It was more than a couple decades ago. So I went to London, and it's an overnight flight. I was in coach, packed in, tired, jet lagged, gross, probably dehydrated, literally not at my best, right? It's an overnight flight. So we finally get to London Gatwick. And the good news was we made good time. We arrived early. The bad news was we weren't cleared to land because we were early. All of the runways were full. So what did the control tower, tell the pilot? Go up into a holding pattern. We got to wait for a runway to be cleared. So that's what the pilot did. So we go up into this really clear space, and listen, I was over it. I was so nauseous already. What did the pilot do? He circled Gatwick for 45 minutes. He banked this way, and then he banked that way, and then he banked this way and that way. Talk about motion sickness. I wanted to land the plane myself, right? Talk about a miracle wanting to land. I was ready. Like, let me in there. I will land in a field in Surrey. I don't care. We're landing this plane. But finally, we were cleared to land, and we did. The runway was cleared. We landed, and I kissed the ground immediately and thanked goodness that that trip was over. But we were stuck in a holding pattern. We couldn't land. There was no room for us. There were blocks on the runway. That is exactly what happens within our own mind. The miracle is held in a holding pattern, waiting for us to become miracle ready, waiting for us to see we're blocked in an area. There's a block there because the miracle's not coming in. I know that's why I'm blocked, because otherwise my natural state would be this would be working out, or something better would be working out, right? This or something better. So there's something I need to look at. So I like to think of our minds then like airports of consciousness. Thoughts are coming in, they're arriving. Thoughts are going out, they're departing. Fearful thoughts and loving thoughts, both. And the miracle is trying to get in. Remember, it's trying to get in. But what blocks the runway? What blocks those places in our mind? Judgment, fear, doubt, resentment, grievance, unforgiveness, thoughts of limitation, that blocks the runway. Imposter syndrome, that blocks the runway. Course in Miracles says even a mild annoyance is a block. A block anywhere is a block everywhere. There's no degrees. It's either fear or love. It's either loving or loveless. A mild annoyance is still a block, and the miracle can't get in. That's what blocks the runway. So how do we clear it up then? How do we resolve this? Because we don't want to miss a miracle. Our natural state is to live in a miraculous flow of miracle after miracle. The Course in Miracles says miracles are all right, they're natural, but purification is necessary first. And that's essentially removing that block that's there. The good news is we don't have to do that by ourselves. The good news is We partner in that removal of the block with the divine. I like to think of the Holy Spirit then, with this airport of consciousness, as being in that control tower. The Holy Spirit can see all the planes trying to land, can see all of our thoughts, our planes, our perceptions going out, can speak to other airports, other minds, other people, can interpret their perceptions and their thoughts, can reorganize, can recalculate, can control how everything comes in. I want the Holy Spirit to be managing my mind. And that's the idea. That's the goal. We partner with the Holy Spirit for purification. Now, how do we really do that? What's the practical aspect of that? Well, if we know we're blocked, we know we're uncomfortable, we know we're not experiencing a loving solution, we're not living in that flow, that place of alignment, then we get it. We're conscious about it. And we get really real with God. And we say, all right, there's a situation. This is what I'm feeling specifically. This is what I'm thinking about it specifically, even if you're embarrassed. Get it all out. Tell God everything. Leave it all on the altar, A Course in Miracles says, with God. Because you have to purify it. You have to get it out so the plane can land. You ask to see things differently, to see from that clock, from that clock tower. Now I'm thinking about Big Ben because I have London on my mind. You think about that control tower. That's an all-knowing, higher ground place. The Holy Spirit can see everything and how everything fits in. I want to see this from that perspective. I want to see this differently from the eyes of love. Because I want this block to be removed. I want a miracle. I want this solution. Whatever you feel that you need in your life that would be most helpful, that would be that love that makes sense and is meaningful to you, that miraculous moment, you want that. And that's your right, A Course in Miracles says. But we're also responsible for cleaning it up. But we get to partner with God. So we partner with the Holy Spirit, we clean it up, it's removed, and then we get insight. And that's another miracle in and of itself. Remember, I said that miracles are love. That's loving as well. That a miracle shows up as something meaningful that makes sense to you, that you can recognize, that you can receive. We might call those synchronicities. We might call those things that come from out of the blue. You will be guided, you'll be shown, and that block will be dissolved and the miracle can then land. And that's what we want. That's where we want to live. So in closing, I'll leave you with this. Everything's already lined up and is here in a higher place within your mind. It's lined up, it's ready, it's available. It just takes alignment. It just takes getting back into position with the frequency of love and removing the blocks that are deflecting that miracle from landing. When we choose to see things differently, when we choose love over fear, when we're willing, when we are intentional, when we act from love, when we question all of the thoughts that cross our mind, then we never miss a miracle. They land, they're able to land. And love is always trying to land, but the question is, are we letting it? So thank you so much. I appreciate you listening.